Hi everyone. How well do you think you know the lesson, The Girl Who Hated Books? Do you know it well enough to do a test today? Let's see. I have 10 questions for you to answer. Okay, they're taken from all over the lesson, not from the back of the chapter. They are my own questions. So I would suggest that you write the answers down. So do keep a rough book with you and a pen or a pencil. And as we go through each of the questions, do write them down so that when I discuss the answers with you, you can check if you have the answer right. But if you prefer not to write the answers, it's okay. We could go through them orally. Either way, you will know whether you know this lesson well or not. And if you know it well enough and you get most of the answers right, then you are prepared for this lesson. If you don't, you know what you need to do. You need to revise it again. And how do you revise a lesson in literature? You have to read it over and over again, several times until you know the story very well. You do not learn questions and answers by heart. That is not the right way to learn English literature. It is literature. You have to understand the story, and there are some facts that you have to memorize. But you won't have to memorize the facts if you read the story over and over again. They just become a part of the story, so you don't have to learn them by heart. So let's see how many of these questions you can get right. Let's see how well prepared you are in this lesson, The Girl Who Hated Books. Are you ready to begin? The Girl Who Hated Books. Are you ready with the first question? This is your first question. Name 5 unusual places where you could find books in Meena's house. Of course, the lesson mentions more than 5 places, but can you remember at least 5 of them? Let's see. So do check your answer with mine. You could find books in the dressers, closets, cupboards, in the fireplace, and stacked on the chairs as well. And if you have something else that you have written which does not match with my answer, please do open the textbook and check if it is mentioned there. All right, let's move on to the second question. Why did Meena's cat hate books? This is an interesting answer, isn't it? So let's see if you know the answer. Meena's cat hated books because a thick atlas had fallen on his tail when he was a kitten. That must have hurt him so much. Imagine a small little kitten and a thick atlas falling on his tail. How sad. Let's move on to the third question. Why did Max always stay on top of the books instead of below them? I hope you know who Max is. All right, let's see if you got this answer right. Max always stayed on top of the books instead of below them because a thick atlas had fallen on his tail when he was a kitten. I hope you got that one right. The fourth question, what happened when Meena stood on a stool and tried to rescue Max? So what happened? Meena's foot slipped and she lost her balance. The fifth question, what was the strange thing that happened when the pile of books fell? It is strange because something like that would have never happened to you or to me if we dropped a pile of books. But it happened to Meena. What was it? The answer? When the pile of books fell, people and animals started falling out of the pages and tumbling on the ground. Imagine that. The sixth question. What kind of people and animals fell out of the books that fell? Well, do you remember? If you think you can't remember the answer, then I think it's time for you to read the text again. But if you can remember, let's see if you got them all right. Here's your answer. There were princes and princesses, fairies, frogs, and a wolf. Now you can't write wolves, you have to write a wolf, just one. There were elephants, emperors, emus, and elves. An assortment of monkeys, that means different kinds of monkeys, and rabbits. I hope you remembered them all. Your seventh question. What happened in Meena's dining room after the books fell? A horrible thing happened. What happened? The answer? The characters came out of the books and played havoc. The elephants balanced on the coffee table and juggled the china plates. The monkeys tore down the curtains and used them as capes. And the rabbits nibbled on the table legs. Oof. The eighth question. Why did the rabbit wiggle out of Meena's grasp and run away? Remember? Meena caught the rabbit, but the rabbit wiggled out of her grasp and ran for his life. He literally did run for his life. Why? This is the answer. Meena was trying to put the characters back into their respective books, but she had no idea which ones went into which book because she had not read any of them. She caught the rabbit and tried to put him into a cookbook. That scared the rabbit, who did not want to be part of a recipe in a cookbook. So he wiggled out of Meena's grasp and ran away. I hope you got that right. It's quite a long answer, but an easy one. If you know the story, you can write it in your own words. The ninth question. How was Meena able to finally solve the problem? She did solve the problem. So how did she do that? Let's see if you know how she solved the problem. Meena was forced to sit and read the books so that she could find out which character went into which book. Got it? And now we come to the last question of this lesson. Why were Meena's parents shocked when they came home that afternoon? Why were they shocked? What did they see that shocked them? The answer? Meena's parents were shocked when they came home that afternoon because they walked into the house to see Meena sitting in the middle of the room reading a book. Remember, she had never read a book before. She was forced to read a book now, and that is what she was doing when her parents returned. Shocking. So how did you do in today's test? Did you get almost all the answers right? If you did, that's really good, and that means you are prepared for this lesson. If you didn't, then I would suggest please read the text again several times, because that's the best way to ensure that you get all the answers right. Until we meet again, bye.